of those words in a song into our hearts. Love in a holy way, live in a holy way, serve in a holy way. For the words mean nothing until they are lived. So just take a moment to become fully present. Take a breath. Let go of everything except this moment, this breath. Letting yourself become fully present of this next experience of coming together as a spiritual community, nourishing, being nourished, remembering who and what we really are, letting go of whatever is in the way, trusting it can be that easy. And listening from a different place inside. Not so much the worldly self that is experiencing our humanness and the world of effect, but our spirit, our essence, our truest self. And maybe it doesn't feel so close today. And so this celebration is to bring you closer, to remind you of what you already know. That's why you can hear what's being said. Because if you did not understand or hear it in the way that you hear it, it would just be another language. But this is the language of your heart. So settle in. Be open and receptive. And trust that you are given today what you need. So now gently bring your attention back. And when you are ready, open your eyes. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Center for Spiritual Living, Morristown. I'm Frankie Timmers, the spiritual director here. And for those of you who are new, we're so glad that you found your way here. It's really your soul that found your way here because you're ready to experience a deeper connection with yourself, your higher self, your true self. And no matter where you come from, what's happened to you, where you've been, it doesn't really matter because in the end, it's about your connection with your essential self and how to live that. So we have James Bro with us today. There is a sign-up sheet on the table outside because James is working on a CD. Ooh, his first one. Ooh. James is incredibly talented, and you will hear that today if he's new to you. So sign up if you want to know all about his new CD, and he will put you on his email list. So one of the things that you'll find outside, too, is a big jar that we're filling up with cash and a beautiful card made by Jean Lee that you can sign for our beloved member, Alan Sherwood, who has moved to Toms River. And he's joining the community, a new Center for Spiritual Living community in Asbury Park, with Reverend Rhea Carroll. So we want to give him a little send-off and thank him. Alan's been a member for a long time, and he has touched many hearts. He's been in service in many different ways for a long time. So we would just want to love him up and thank him. So one of the things that we do at our center always is a spiritual mind treatment. That's our word for affirmative prayer. So I invite you to close your eyes and just take in these words. Right here, right now, we establish together by means of our consciousness, by means of our mind, heart, our spirit, our soul, a consciousness of openness, a consciousness of compassion, a consciousness of love, a place of peace, so that as we step in and sit down, there is an ease that comes over us that says, I have arrived. And so I know that happens because there is a power and a presence in the universe that is everywhere present, and therefore it must also be in us. And it is what's called us here today as a way to remember that we are more than our human experience, that we're a spiritual being having actually a spiritual experience. And whatever that means for each of us, because there are as many ways to make that mean what it needs to mean for us as there are stars in the sky, whatever that means for us, we simply make ourselves receptive to hear something new and something fresh, to receive inspiration, to open ourselves even wider to the activity of the universe in support of our full and complete evolution, to live our truest purpose, to experience love that is unconditional from the inside out, and to know that abundance is our birthright. And so we are blessed that that's what we get to experience today, that that's what we teach, and that's what we learn. And so it is. Is it a little too warm in here? Oh, I turned the heat on. And I forgot what the temperature is when it's hot. So, David, would you go to the thermostat and just push the down arrow? Heat's on for the first time, people. Thank you. Just put whatever you think is right. All right. So, this is a year where we celebrate 100 years of the science of mind. The teaching is 100 years old. And we're using the book by Ernest Holmes, the first one he wrote in 1918, Creative Mind and Success, which is a little gem that we do have in the bookstore that I'm going to read from it a little bit later. And for the month of October, the theme is prosperity, abundance, and wealth. So last week, I introduced the theme and I shared with you the difference between abundance and prosperity. Wealth falls into the prosperity category. It's about health and well-being. It's an overall sense of well-being. But abundance is the principle. Just like love is the principle, like beauty is a principle, wisdom is a principle. Abundance is the principle. It is cause. It is inherent in all of us. It's the truth of our very being. It's an inner truth that's already living inside of us, just like love is. It is our inherent reality. It's where we're going. Because the whole idea of spiritual life is to remember what really is, to remember the truth, to remember who and what we really are. And so prosperity then is the outer thing, is the effect, is the demonstration. We tend to limit prosperity because we tend to think it's about money, it's about experiencing goods, stuff, having stuff. That's the tendency of our human nature. We tend to limit it. But prosperity is much bigger than that. It just means a general sense of well-being, which then allows for everything to ripple and unfold. So prosperity then is the result of what we believe abundance to be. Prosperity is the result of us believing that abundance is an inherent principle. And so when we don't experience prosperity, it's because somewhere along the line there's a glitch. That's the translation from the principle of abundance to the practice of prosperity. And that can only be in our own mind, in our own consciousness. It can't be anywhere else. Even if it's my mother's fault, my boss's fault, the political system fault, it is what I believe about that becomes my experience. And so today I want to talk about that and how that all unfolds. And then I want to talk about what about that glitch? How is that showing up for me? And could it possibly be that it's showing up for me because I'm ready to break through it? And then we're going to talk about freedom, how to be more free into practicing and experiencing the principle of abundance in a personal way. And then Theo is going to put the icing on the cake because he's going to share something really powerful. He's only given me snippets of it, and I already know because I know Theo and I know what he's going to share. That's really powerful. Thank God. I'm like ready to take my dress off. I will not scare you. I promise I won't scare you that way. So, what we learned then, if the principle is absolute, the principle of abundance, the principle of love, the principle of wisdom, then the practice, and by the way, the principle is impersonal. It doesn't say, well, I'm going to give Theo more because he's so good looking. Or I'm going to give John more because he's just so wise. Or I'm going to give Cindy more because she's just always giving of herself. No, that's not how it works. It is giving, and it's impersonal in its giving. The practice, then, is personal. So it's how we individualize the principle. It's how I make the principle of abundance my own principle, my own experience. And so the way that happens is by means of our thinking, by means of our consciousness, by means of our mind and our heart, by means of our belief system. And we already know that much of what we believe isn't quite conscious. The reason that we struggle at times, especially with prosperity and abundance, is because it is the principle itself that is trying to become conscious by means of us. It's kind of saying, hey, what are you doing thinking you don't have enough? Or thinking you aren't enough. That's why it's in our face and we struggle and we suffer with it, because the principle itself is saying, that's not who you really are. Your inherent self is the abundance of the universe. And so a lot of times what happens is, and I hear this all the time from people, is that they're wishing. I wish I was more abundant. I wish I had more money. I wish I had more love in my life. I wish I had a better car, a better job. I wish I knew what my purpose in life was. I wish I was happier. And so there's this hoping and this wishing. Isn't that a song? Hoping and wishing, right? Dreaming and imagining, oh, once I am abundant, I'm going to do this and this and this and that. Or even wanting or coveting. I wish I had their life. I wish I had their job. I wish I had their level of abundance. A lot of that is just self-torment that doesn't work. Because it is just that, wishing and hoping and wanting and dreaming. It's kind of like saying, well, I wish I would win the lottery. You have more of a chance to demonstrate your spiritual mind treatment, your affirmations, than you do winning the lottery. I'm not saying buying lottery tickets is a bad thing. Please go for it and have fun with it. It's just interesting how people think. I live with somebody who thinks that way. Oh, I got to go get tickets because the megapixel million, whatever that's called, this is like really high. So he ran out the door, went to the local gas station and bought 5 tickets. And then yesterday morning, he says, nobody won. I got to go get more tickets. Go get tickets. He told me 10 times what to buy, and when I got to the store, I forgot what it was, because I'm not a lottery ticket kind of person. And doing all my errands yesterday, I came home and I realized I totally forgot about it. So that's because that's not my way. It's not how I think. Again, I'm not saying it's a bad thing. Please go for it. So somebody asked recently, so I treat to win the lottery. How come I didn't win? And in my mind, I'm thinking, do you think you're the only one that's praying to win the lottery? And we do know that it's consciousness, right? And so, but it still has this element of wishing and hoping and dreaming and not actually standing in the river of abundance, living what we believe and allowing that to accumulate our greater good. So it's not, once I'm more abundant, I'll be happy. No, I'm happy so that I can experience greater abundance. Does that make sense? So instead of thinking from effect to cause, what this teaching is all about is thinking from cause to effect by means of our own consciousness. So Raymond Hollywell, what happened to all my little pieces of paper? He had a great quote. No, I can't Google it. Okay, talk amongst yourselves. It's a really great quote. Yes, it is too hot in here. Okay, so it disappeared. It doesn't want to be shared. I would say, find yourself in the bookstore, picking up Raymond Hollywell's book, Working with the Law. One more place to look. I'm a little scrap paper kind of girl. No, it's just so it's not here. Okay. So what the quote was talking about was that in order for us to transform our thinking from effect to cause effect, means that we have to stay really focused. And it's not just hoping and wishing and dreaming, but it's expecting. And expecting can be looked at in two ways. Oh, I expect this or expect that. No, expecting is taking our knowing to a deeper level. And it's clearing it of any ideas of lack and limitation. And having so much faith, knowing that what you need is always provided. That the reality of your own being, which is the inherent abundance, is ever available and is ours to claim. And to arrive there, it requires that we transform our fear of not having enough, not doing enough, not being enough to the opposite, whatever that means for you. It requires moving around from, I don't have enough, I don't have enough. What if I don't have enough tomorrow? What if I don't have enough when I retire? What if I don't have enough later? To, there's always enough for me. Because enough is the principle of abundance that lives within me, and it is my birthright. And so what that requires is that we think, that we reflect on what it is that we believe, and that we get really honest with ourselves. If abundance is a principle that lives in us, and if it is our inherent birthright, and if it is the very truth of our being, and if it is the cause of everything, then the question that we have to ask ourselves, what is my excuse? What is my excuse? And we have to be willing to go there. We have to be willing to look there. Because if we don't look there, if we don't go there, whatever kind of abundance we're talking about, then you'll stay stuck. It will always be your main complaint. I'm not enough. I don't have enough. I don't do enough. Whatever it may be. It could be talk to my family. It could be exercise. It could be eat healthy. It could be sleep. It doesn't have to be a huge thing. It can be a really simple thing. So we pay attention to when we say, I'm not enough. I don't have enough. I don't do enough. Because that is about where we are personally when it comes to experiencing prosperity. So if you find yourself complaining, that's a good way to reflect, because that is putting the principle of abundance to shame. It's denying it. That is creating lack. Complaining, gossiping, criticizing, judging. They're all ways that we limit our goods. So it behooves us to pay attention, because we all do it. It's just part of our human nature. We like to complain. We like to have excuses. Well, I have a cold because my friend coughed in my face. Yeah, right? That's not the truth. That is not the truth. I love it when fall and winter comes, when people say, well, it's going around. And I'm thinking, well, it's going around, but why is it going to you and not to her? It's because our immune system is directly connected to our consciousness. So we want to really pay attention and reflect to see what it is that we believe. Because what we notice is, if abundance is my birthright and it's my divine reality and it's not my experience, then something is off. And we must look at it with compassion. Because if we look at it with shame or judgment or criticism, we're just creating a whole other river of lack. So when we look at it from a place of clarity and love and compassion and wisdom, then we begin to see something new. Oh, that's what it is. And then there's movement. Then we will not stay stuck. If you're stuck in a particular area of your life and you have a similar complaint for the last decade of what challenges you, you begin to really see, and you're willing to see that there's a little glitch in the way you think, and it's out of sync with the truth, and you're really willing to look and willing to see and willing to be honest, there must be movement. It cannot be any other way. It's when we don't want to see it that we end up getting stuck. So if you prefer to be stuck, then just accept it. I really don't want to work that hard. I'm just going to stay stuck in my misery and keep complaining. It's okay, but at least you're owning it and taking full responsibility for it. So if you say, I want that movement, I want that shift, I want that change, then the first place to stand is at the edge of your becoming, because that's what it is. When I have a challenge, when you have a challenge, when something we're struggling with in life, it's because we're at the edge of growth, and we don't like to jump. We prefer to stay here and complain, right? It's just so human. Ernest Holmes says our human tendency is towards the negative. But when we're at the edge of growth is when crazy things happen, when breakdown happens, when we're diagnosed with an illness, when we experience loss, when we have issues around money, when we have relationship challenges, when we have career challenges. Those we're experiencing not because we're being punished, not because something's wrong with us, but because something right in us wants to be lived by means of us, wants to be expanded and seen in a different light, wants to be expressed in a form of healing. It is your dawn. And you know when it's the darkest? Before the dawn. We don't wait for the dawn to be given to us or to show by means of what we want other people to do. We experience our own dawn. The edge of our own consciousness just means that something wants to be healed. Something wants to be set free. And we choose how. Nobody tells us. Nobody chooses for us. And that's where we become very protective, because it's so easy to be influenced by the realm of effect. Just tell your parents or your family that you're doing your spiritual practices around greater abundance. People who are not on a spiritual path, and you'll know what they think, right? Oh yeah, woo-woo, it's all Pollyanna. Okay. And so what we're ready for is to open up to something new. Your and my story of lack, any kind of lack, because that's what it is. It's a story we tell ourselves over and over and over and over again, unconsciously first, consciously next, until it becomes our experience. And we believe that's our story. That story can be the moment where we go, I have been telling myself this story that I don't have blank enough, that I don't do blank enough, that I am or have not blank enough. I'm going to put an end to that story, and I'm going to change that story. So what's the new story that you want to tell yourself? That's not an excuse, and it's not a lie. A lie is anything that does not reflect your inherent truth about abundance. So just ask, what's in the way of my inherent abundance? What's in the way of my inherent health? What's in the way of my inherent being love? What's in the way of my true wisdom? The good news is that you already know. You already know. I already know. But we don't want to listen. We don't want to accept, because then we don't have to change. And we don't like change. So we'll just stick to the story that's the lie. So choosing a new story, I had a great second quote by Florence Scovel Shinn. It's somewhere. I'll let you know where it is. Somebody who's so organized, it's interesting. It just tells me it doesn't want to be quoted. But she was a Jersey girl that was born and raised in New Jersey in Camden. And she was a spiritual teacher, and she was really wise. And she talked about planting seeds and how the seeds grow into a tree, so we want to pay attention to the kind of seeds we're planting and how we're treating those seeds, how we're nourishing them. The cultivation of consciousness, the growth in consciousness is all about that, planting seeds and then taking really good care of them until they grow into fruition. And so your ticket to freedom may be a lottery ticket for one of you. Your ticket to freedom might still be in the store. Has the drawing been done? Yes? Oh, well, next batch, right? That may be your ticket of freedom. But how limited and contracted a way of thinking it is to think that our ticket to freedom might be a lottery ticket. While our true ticket to freedom is the principle of abundance that is already inherent within you, available with every breath and every heartbeat, right here and right now. We're here to be free. We're here to be lovers of life. We're here to experience abundance. We're here to apply our inherent wisdom. We're here to live our purpose. We're on this path, on this spiritual path, this one particularly, because that's why we're all here together, to be an inspiration to others, to be an example. This teaching is not just for us. It's how we show up in the world. We want people to say, "What's up with you? You're different." We want people to say when they go home, "You know what? There was this lady at the gas station, and she looked in my eyes and she smiled at me. And she said, 'God bless you.'" One person all day long. People don't even look at me. They don't care. They're stressed out. You want people in your family to say, that sibling is a special sibling. She really loves me unconditionally, my flaws and all. We want people at our work to say, wow, what an amazing person. Look what he has overcome in life. That's what it means to be on a spiritual path, to make a difference in the world. We can say, I want the world to change, but we already know in this teaching it doesn't change unless we do. And so we free ourselves of all those places where we feel that sparkle of fear, that sparkle of lie, that sparkle of excuse, that sparkle of contraction of our real self. And it's so important to keep doing it with so much love and so much compassion. So now I want to read something that I did bring. And it's from this little book, and it's a little longer, so bear with me. I'm going to break it up a little bit and share in between. For those of you who are reading the book of the month, which might be like 2 of you, because you haven't been done yet with all the other books of the month, this is on page 30, where so many fail. Most people simply sit and wish for or long for something. They may even have a great desire or a hope. They may even go so far as to believe that their desire is going to happen. All this is good as far as it goes, but it does not go far enough. What we must do is to provide that already having received attitude. Already having received attitude. When you're in the already having received attitude, you will notice what's in the way inside of you. Pay attention. It's ready to be released, transformed. Next, this may seem hard at first, but we can easily see that it's necessary, and it's the only way that mind works. This is what we must do. Power is, and mind is, and life is, but they have to flow through us in order to express in our lives. We're dealing with law, and nature must be obeyed before it will work for us. We must obey the law of abundance in order to experience abundance, right? Just realize that this law is as natural a law as any other of God's laws, and use it with the same intelligence that you would use the law of electricity. Then you will get the desired results. We provide a thought form around which the divine energies play and to which they attract the conditions necessary for the fulfillment of thought. Each person has within himself or herself the capacity of knowing and making use of the law, but it must be consciously developed. This is done by practice and by willingness to learn and to utilize whatever we know so far as we have gone. The individual who has the most power is the one who has the greatest realization of the divine presence, and to whom this means the most as an active principle of his or her life. So, prosperity is personal. Abundance is impersonal. Let go of what it means to anyone else. Let go of what you thought it meant. Let go of what you think it should mean. Let go of the old limiting story around it, and give yourself the freedom to choose what it means to you and to provide the mental avenue through which it can demonstrate.
My name is Theo Tilton. I'm a licensed practitioner here, and today I'm going to talk about abundance. Continuing the conversation that Reverend Frankie had. So I want you to close your eyes for just a quick second. Behind those eyelids, there is a brain. Abundance exists inside of your brain, in the physical body. It has now been documented that there are over 100 million cells inside the brain. That your body is composed of 37,300,000,000,000,000,000 cells. Imagine looking at the night sky. It seemingly is the same night sky that you've seen as a child. Nothing seemingly has moved. Almost like it's stuck in time. In 1980, they thought that there were 1 trillion stars. Scientists in 2018 now believe that there are 300,000,000,000,100,000,000,000 stars. The earth beneath your feet, the ground outside, with all of its worms and bugs and microbes. It is now known that a single 5-gallon bucket of earth contains more microbes than the number of stars in the known universe. Abundance is everywhere. This is one of the best times of the year. You can open your eyes. The leaves fall off the trees to renew itself, to grow again, and spring forth new abundance in its leaves and flowers. How many of you have a list of things that you keep that you want to achieve in your life? I want to lose 20 pounds. I want to win the lottery, whatever that looks like. I want a better relationship. Keep raising your hands. How many of you have one of those? Okay. Put them down. How many of you live a pretty fulfilled life? Awesome. How many people think that if they take that fulfilled life and add some of those list items, life would get bigger? Good. The universe is not stuck. The universe is always expanding. The sky that we see seems stuck, just like your list. Let me tell you a story. A year ago, I was sitting inside of a classroom, and I said, I don't know what I'm about to do for the next year. I'm going to go into a class that's going to be 1 year long. I'm going to have to spend $7,000 in travel to go all over the planet and learn all this stuff about being in communication. But something is telling me that I'm going to, after 1 year, have my list completed. I'm going to complete with my broken relationship, maybe start a new one. I'm going to open up a business, become a millionaire, start real estate investing, lose 20 pounds, and finally, after 20 years, leave my career in corporate America. Does anybody have a list like that? And I don't know what I'm going to do, but I know that this course I'm going to take, within 1 year, something's going to move. Something has to move. So I will tell you, every single thing on the list is checked off. Within 3 months, I opened up a brand new company in 48 countries. I now have 67,000 customers. I'm buying my first real estate investment in West Philadelphia, creating my dream empire. I've lost 20 pounds. I got really complete with my ex. So much so that we're friends. I started dating again. In July, I became a millionaire. And as of 3 weeks ago, I submitted my voluntary resignation from Verizon. And they're giving me $250,000 to do it. What am I saying? You have a list. The list is static. We say in this teaching that we treat and move our... Yeah. We don't sit on a couch and ohm it into existence. It doesn't work that way. It takes a declaration. 1 year ago, I was sitting in a chair and I said, I don't know how, but I'm declaring that this list will be complete. I had to declare it and then step into it. Start taking the actions, and the universe has provided. So what I wanted you to do is everyone stand up. This is the section we call one power. We know that there's only one power, one mind in the universe, and it's listening. And it always says yes. You don't have to participate if you don't want, but I want you to think of the highest thing on your list. Health, love, whatever it is. And share it with 3 people. The item that you want to check off your list this year. Go.
Thank you for your generosity and your presence and your service and your love. We're going to take this party downstairs after celebration where we're going to have a potluck, and we're asking everyone to stay for a town hall meeting. So if you're staying for the town hall meeting, come downstairs. If not, you can have a cup of tea, a cup of coffee, have a bite to eat, but we are going to go right into a meeting. The town hall meeting is just like a mid-year meeting where we let you know where we are as a center, and then you get to be part of deciding where we're going. You may have noticed, for example, that our attendance is lower. And so just imagine if you each brought 2 people. There'd be standing room only. Right? And so you get to be a part of that in whatever way that works for you. And we're going to get creative and have fun together. So if you love this community, we invite you to stay for the town hall meeting. If you're a member and a friend, we would love for you to stay. So thank you, James. We have a special guest, because when you give, a portion of what you give, we pass on, because we believe in the law of circulation. So every month we give back, and sometimes we have a local organization, and we ask them to come and receive it publicly, and also to share a little bit what they're doing in the community. So Unity of Lafayette received a gift for their 20th anniversary, and the leader is Reverend Janice Balera, who was a student here. And then we have a guest, Jeannie Bram. Come on up. Jeannie is working with JBWS, and she's going to tell us a little bit of what that is and what they do.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Frankie. It's so nice to be here. Thank you for welcoming me and your generous donation. Especially nice to see Lynn Siebert, who is my former colleague for many, many years. Thank you for your wonderful years of service to JBWS. JBWS provides safety, support, and solutions for abuse. Many of you know us as Jersey Battered Women's Service. As we move beyond our 40-year history, we're moving away from our full name to be more inclusive of those who don't consider themselves battered but are emotionally, financially abused, as well as to be more accepting of male survivors. So JBWS is our name going forward, providing safety, support, and solutions for abuse. You know, most of you know about our safety services, which are helpline, our 24-hour helpline, our emergency safe house, transitional living, and legal advocacy services. We also provide many hours of supportive counseling to victims of domestic violence, their children as well. And beyond that, we don't just want to put a Band-Aid on the problem of domestic violence. We want to provide solutions for domestic violence. And so we have many preventative services. We go out and speak to about 8,000 students each year in their health classes on dating abuse prevention and domestic violence. In addition to that, we have a batterers intervention program, and we just opened up our Morris Family Justice Center 2 years ago. It's a model program in the country, the second in New Jersey. It's kind of a one-stop shopping for a victim of domestic abuse who can go right across from the courthouse and get services from the prosecutor's office, legal advocacy, Morris Cares, the Sexual Assault Center, Hispanic Affairs, JBWS, and more. There are 9 agencies altogether. Makes it a lot easier for a victim. Tell your story once, get the services that you need, and you don't have to run around the county to do that. So that's our brand new service, the Morris Family Justice Center. There's a few brochures out there if you'd like them. If you need more, I can get those to Frankie as well. Okay? Thank you very much for your support.
Thank you. And here's the check, our gift.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for the good work you do in Morris County. I want everybody to know that there's something really special that's happening next Saturday here. We are having a comedy show. This is a rare event, so we want you all to come back and bring a bunch of family, friends, neighbors, because we all need to laugh more. Marian Oxenhorn is a woman who took a class in her late 70s and decided she wanted to become a comedian. She made it happen, and she's funny. So make sure you pee first or wear the pants, because it's like, I'm telling you, it's that kind of laughter, and it's very smart and tasteful, and she surprises you because she seems so prim and proper, and she's not. No, she is. So please come for that. It's at 7:30 on Saturday. I will be here all day because at 2 o'clock we have a memorial celebration for Lucy Webster. So those of you who want to come to that, it's going to be really special. Lucy was a member here when she came. We've lost some really close friends in our community recently, and I want you to know that I am here to support you in any way, and so are our practitioners. So let's close with a healing treatment, and then we'll meet you downstairs in our Friendship Hall. So right here, right now, as we close our eyes, we just take a moment to realize that there is always room for expansion. We will always be growing. This isn't one-stop shopping. This isn't a one-time occurrence. It is happening right here and right now. And so we open ourselves to this everlasting evolution, and that where we are is enough. And who we are is enough. And what we are is enough. And why we are is enough. So we surrender to this place of enoughness as the place where spirit within shows up for us, fills us, inspires us, guides us, provides for us, opens us. And today, more than ever before, we are willing to trust that all is well with our soul, that everything is unfolding in divine right action, that we're given enough to stand in the truth right here and right now, and to let anything else simply fall away, like shedding cells of old skin. Here we claim the place of gratitude and grace. Here we claim the peace that is already available within. Here we claim the universe's unconditional love for each and every one of us. And here we claim our true purpose: to love, to live, to laugh, and to be a blessing, a beneficial blessing on the planet. And so it is. Have a great day, everyone, and a beautiful week.